welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. In these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, you will find us on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So can't thank you enough for being a part of the show here. And of course, we want to thank Great Lakes Honda City once again for being our exclusive studio partner. That is where I've gone for over a decade to get my vehicles, including my 2025 Honda CR-V, black on black on black. So make sure you get out there to Great Lakes Honda City today. Open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. You can get a sneak peek of their inventory on GreatLakesHondaCity.com. And of course, you could buy and lease, as well as find new cars and used cars, all at Great Lakes Honda City. Inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', you see two logos up there, both here in central New York, and that means that we are going to be starting our conversation with the Bobcats taking the spotlight in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse. We have the exclusive first interview with Ryan McGee since becoming the head coach of the Bryant and Stratton men's soccer team here in Syracuse, which has won multiple national championships. So the new era under Ryan McGee has begun, and his exclusive first conversation since taking the job as head coach is coming up in just a moment. After that, here in hour number one, you'll have my Q&As with both Syracuse Orange quarterback Steve Angeli and wide receiver Justus Ross-Simmons. Now, I shared these on social media, but I want to go back over them and speak on what I heard and what my takeaways were from my conversations, my Q&As with both of these gentlemen that were an integral part of Syracuse's comeback victory over UConn. And in hour number two, we will jump into the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. That'll be a separate video. Every Wednesday, we split our broadcasts into two separate videos and two separate audio streams. And we do that because our fantasy football coverage reaches people all over the country, all over the world, and I want them to be able to get back to that video, get back to that audio, so that they can make their picks and get their teams ready each and every week. So we do that as a separate video to make it more accessible and easier for you, because here on Wake Up Call, it's all about making sure that you have the best experience that you possibly can. So with that being said, we'll take a step aside here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, the exclusive Bobcat Buzz featuring Ryan McGee, new head coach of the Bryant and Stratton Syracuse Bobcats men's soccer team, comes up right after this.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing, an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in. And then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Of course, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. I am on site, on location, on campus on James Street in Syracuse, New York. 2 campuses for the Syracuse area, and that being right here where we are at the main campus, and also in Liverpool, New York, right across from Avicoli's. I am here for the first time ever with Ryan McGee, the head coach of the men's soccer team here at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse. And this is the exclusive first interview, first conversation with Ryan since accepting the job. Ryan, how are you?
Very good. Excited to be here. Very thankful for the position, and it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, happy to have you here. And so it's been an interesting journey how you came here, because when Nick Dimitrievsky, the former men's soccer head coach and athletic director at Bryant and Stratton Syracuse, when he left and went down to Florida, the job became open. You applied for the job. And then Stu Flaherty came in, and then before the season started, Stu went out and didn't coach a single match here, and the job became open again, and you get the job. So bring me into kind of like the whirlwind of all of that.
Yep, so I originally applied probably last February.
Yeah.
Was a finalist. Didn't end up working out. They went with Stu, who's obviously extremely qualified, a lot more experience than me. So totally understand that route. Ended up going to Colorado, started as assistant coach at NGCA Division I Junior College, Lamar, and then a few months got promoted to head coach, and then a month after that promoted to soccer coordinator, men's and women's soccer head coach, and then brought 2 friends of mine in to be the assistant coaches, who are now the interim head coaches.
And so you have this opportunity in Colorado. You're a finalist for Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse. They go with Stu originally, and so you go out to Colorado. Then you see it open back up. What made you want to jump back into it? Did you call or did they call?
They actually reached back out to me.
They called you, okay, all right.
Yep.
So bring me into that phone call of thinking, okay, I was a finalist, I didn't get it, and now here's my next chapter in Colorado, and then to get that call.
I was very excited. I was very thankful for the opportunity in Colorado, the players, the people I met there, but I had my heart set on this job originally. I do think is the best fit for me as well. There's other things I want to do as a coach that allow me to grow as a college coach, coaching elite youth players, coaching semi-pro in the off season, and the rural location where I was, there just wasn't much opportunity to keep growing as a coach and ultimately expand my program as well.
You said, and you just gave some reasoning there, but to go a little bit deeper into it, you said this is the job you wanted. So when you got the other job and then you get a call from Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, you were still very much in that, right? So through the recruitment process of you, right, with Brooke Parro and Clay Gagan Sherman and you being spoken to as a finalist, when you get that phone call back, what was it about Bryant and Stratton Syracuse that spoke to you when you said, like, this is the job I wanted, and I wanted it so much that when I got that second call, I was very much still interested?
The culture of success here,
Okay.
the level of the players, what they've done in the past. Back when they were NGCA Division One, consistently in the national championship, either as runner-up or champion, consistently winning Region 3, back when it was Division 1 as well. So just that culture of success, the level of players, and ultimately it's a different caliber of coaches that are applying for this job as opposed to the one in Lamar.
And so for you, what did that conversation entail when Bryant and Stratton called you the second time around? Who called you, and bring me into the conversation?
Brooke gave me a call.
Okay.
And basically just said she wasn't the AD before, but they would love to have me on board.
You know, and so for that move, and for Brooke to give you that phone call, the athletics director here at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, was it, we're calling you and we want you to be the coach? Was it like, hey, tell us if you're still interested? Like, what were the words? Was it just like, pick up the phone? Because I know her energy.
I don't want to spill too much.
Yeah, I want to know what her energy was like. Did she call you up and say like Ryan, come on, let's do this thing?
What am I allowed to say here, Brooke?
Yeah. Her excited nature was it like, hey, guess what? We got an opportunity for you.
Yeah. So they gauged my interest.
Yeah.
And then I kind of asked, just given the timeline, are there more steps here? More things we have to go through? I was about to start my season.
Yeah.
And basically she said that the market director spoke very highly of me from my previous interviews and that they were ready to move forward. And I was very pleased to accept.
So did you accept it from that? When she called you and said, are you interested still? Did you accept on the phone that day?
We went through a few logistics,
Okay.
but very shortly after, and I think I probably arrived here 2 days later.
Oh, okay.
So once I wasn't coaching for Lamar anymore, I didn't really have any business being there. So I want to get back on the fields and get going.
Did you have an apartment in Colorado? Did you have like a place set up? Were you a hotel? Where were you?
I paid a settlement to my landlord.
Okay. And so coming here, now where do you hail from originally?
Minnesota.
Okay. So how did you even hear about Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse? I know you talked about their success in the NJCAA historically, and the USCAA. They've won multiple national championships in men's soccer in Division I. But how did you originally hear about Bryant and Stratton Syracuse?
I work in a similar industry. Previously, the movement of players as a recruiting coordinator, mostly helping international players come to the States. So due to their success, it's been on my radar for several years. Bryant and Stratton, it is a heavily international squad most years. So due to that, it's always been on my radar.
So in this recruiting world, were you like a resource of having international players come over? Like, what did your job entail?
So basically, after college, I went on to play in second divisions, some first divisions around the world, in Australia, New Zealand, and I would take talented former teammates of mine from college or semi-pro leagues here in the States, and then move them through those same pathways.
Okay.
And then at the same time, while I was abroad coaching, I would coach the academy teams for the same teams I was playing for abroad, and I would take the best players from the academies and send them over to universities in the States.
So you playing and continuing your career, what made you want to transition into coaching?
So as I said, throughout my playing career, I had always been coaching sort of like the U16s or the academy, especially if you're playing in like a second or third division pro league. Coaching one of their teams is like a part of the package they offer you.
So they say like when you're playing as part of the deal of bringing you on, we want you to coach.
Yeah, for example, your playing wage will be X amount, and then we'll give you this much every week for coaching as well. Okay.
So it was kind of given to you in the sense of like, hey, if you want to play here, we also want you to do this.
Exactly.
How quickly did you, I mean, obviously you love the sport of soccer, but how quickly did you catch on in like that, how did that passion grow? Did you always have a thought that you would be coaching? Or when you were playing and asked to coach, did you just kind of take a step back and say, hey, when I'm done playing, I feel like I can just kind of roll right into this thing?
100%. People always ask me what I'm going to do when I'm older, and I say, well, I'm going to coach soccer. And I felt pretty comfortable in that I had played at a higher level than most of my coaches growing up, so I had a good foundation to build off from that. And then I got hurt in my last season in the New Zealand Premier League, had to come back to the States, went to see my family in Minneapolis, and that's where I picked up my first college coaching job at North Central. And then after that, it was really no looking back, and I felt like I had a higher trajectory at that point as a coach than a player, so it made more sense to just go full speed ahead in that direction.
How did North Central happen?
She was just right in my hometown, so knew the head coach, knew a lot of the players already, and just worked out.
So for you, having been a player, now being a coach, what did you learn about leadership and how you should coach a team? Because leadership is incredibly important. You can have talent, but can you teach that talent?
Of course.
So what have you learned about what it makes to be a good leader, essentially?
I would actually say I wish I could go back and be a player after being a coach.
Okay.
There's so much I've learned that, one, I would be a better player, and two, just how to be a better teammate, and what a coach is actually looking for.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have gone further with what I know now after being a coach.
What do you know now?
Just the little things of professionalism, being on time, what coaches want to see, what they want to hear, all the little things that go into it.
So you come to Bryant, Stratton, Syracuse. Did you know who was on the roster ahead of time? Like when you said you worked through the logistics and everything with Brooke, was that part of it, of like, tell me who's here? Because it was right before the season started, right? So the people that were on the team, the student athletes, they had already, paid. They're already physically here. Some of the guys were coming back onto the team. Guys had been recruited. So how much did you know about the roster?
A fair amount, and I had been following the team as well. However, there's been several hiccups to visa delays, things like that, visas not being accepted, delays getting in the country. So our first game against Bloomfield, we actually only had one substitute, and we had a goalie playing on the field. Numbers are going to be looking better for our next game, and we've still got more players coming through.
What can you say to, like you said, you've played overseas and you're trying to help people find their way of being recruited and having a home. Being a coach now, with everything that you've experienced, what is difficult? Because it seems like it's not just in this case with you this season, but it seems like when it comes to visas and it comes to getting people over on time, sometimes you get all your ducks in a row and you're still waiting. So what have you learned about international players and working through the process?
The sooner you can start on everything, the more proactive you can be, is going to help you as much as possible. Because some things are just always going to be out of your hands. When you're dealing with embassies, foreign consulates, a lot of times other colleges, they're admin as well, waiting for documents. The sooner you can get started and be proactive, that's really the best thing you can do.
Do you speak multiple languages?
I speak Spanish.
Okay.
And I can understand a little Portuguese with context.
So I also speak Spanish, and I can understand Portuguese, having worked with a bunch of people from Brazil when I was at Walt Disney World. And I ask you that because when you're dealing with embassies and you're dealing with other colleges and whatnot, I'm sure understanding the dialect can help you get through stuff a lot quicker.
Definitely with recruiting.
Yeah.
South American players, being able to speak directly to their parents, maybe if they don't have English as a first language, can be very useful in making that connection.
So you got the guys that you have, like you said, first game that you had, you can only play with one sub, but you're making additions. Of the team that was already here, guys that were returning, guys that were recruited in, you've added some people too.
Correct.
So how did you, I mean, this, and folks, please understand something, like Ryan coming in as the head coach, it was like, you're hired, we have a game, who's playing, like, it was like, what's a year of time, multiple years of time, it's this tiny little window. And I say that because I want to give you credit to what you've been working to do in such a short window. How have you dealt with that kind of high octane, you got 5 seconds until you start the season type of feel to it? Because your first season as the head coach here at Bryant and Stratton, Syracuse for men's soccer was you're hired, and then you got a couple weeks to train, recruit, and here's the season, and we're going.
Yeah.
So we just got to bring me into the pressure cooker that's been.
Actually really enjoyed it. So my days are full of football. I'm on the field all the time. And I was actually just finishing 2-a-days at my other college.
Yeah.
And then I came right back to start 2-a-days again. So I love that. It's my favorite time of the year. I love being on the field as much as possible. So it's been really fun for me. It's been a really exciting challenge and adventure. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and where it goes.
I talked about on the show recently in our segment Lead, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero, about making a challenge into it when a challenge can become your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How did this challenge help you to find purpose?
That's a great question. I would suppose with a program that's already had so much success, just asking, what can we do more? Even more than a championship. How can we take the program further? And just trying to motivate the players and challenge them to have even bigger goals.
So what do you see beyond having a championship? What else can you do?
I would like for us to become so competitive that we can get more competitive games. Maybe Red Bull, New York 2, River Hounds, some Division 2, Division 1 schools. And then of our normal schedule, if we can get as many ranked opponents, ranked junior colleges, ranked NAI, as competitive as we can make it, and then giving our players great opportunities in the summer to go on and be professionals in the future. And if for the players that are taking the junior college route, coming here for a 2-year degree, can we send them on to major universities?
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, all of this to look and plan and help them toward their future, that pay it forward approach, not just a coach saying, what can you give me, but what can I give you? Why is it important as a leader for you to have a relationship and not a transaction where you're looking to help them as much as you're hoping that they'll help you or even help them more?
Well, at the end of the day, you could say it is still a bit transactional. I'm helping them to go professional. Yeah. It helps me as a coach, helps me bring in more players. And when they see me move on other players, then they stay committed to the program because they see what can happen when they stay committed.
And for you, like you said, you've enjoyed the pressure cooker. What I took to was social media. Before you were even introduced as the head coach, the social media for men's soccer just exploded.
Yeah.
And there was all these videos of all these different things that you're doing out in the community and training, and the videos were professionally, they looked very professional, they were consistent, and it just showed a team that had a level of expectation. It just, they talk about, like your social media being essentially maybe your welcome mat to the world. The welcome mat for Bryant and Stratton, Syracuse men's soccer since you came in has been a really positive, professional approach. Bring me into that. Were you running it yourself? Was somebody else doing it? Did you have somebody helping you? Because the first thing that I saw of the era of Ryan McGee was the social media, and it was a great first impression, to your credit.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate those kind words.
Sure.
I have to say thank you to the old coach, Stuart, as well, for giving me the Instagram passwords.
Yeah, Coach Stu, I mean, paying that forward, too. Yeah.
So, for me, it was just like, I felt they were having such an incredible experience that I wanted the world to see. I wanted other recruits to see, and I just thought it was so cool what they were doing that I felt people needed to see that.
and you said they were having such an incredible experience. Some people might have been thinking that they were having a horrible experience, right? They have 3 coaches in the span of less than a year. So how did you keep it together? Like, once Brooke called you and you accepted the job after going through the logistics, did you say to Brooke, like, hey, I want the numbers of all the players, I want to call them individually? Like, how did you address the players?
The first step was to make a group chat with all the players, kind of set standards and expectations, and then get everyone on the same page and go from there.
So when you had that group chat, what were those like first initial steps that you took? Like I said, your social media left a good first impression. What did you do to leave a good first impression with the team through this group chat?
Basically just an introduction about myself, my qualifications, and then just try to stay really positive in the beginning, and then later I can be hard on them.
Yeah. So what did they say to you? What was like the first reaction you got from these guys? Because obviously this is their future. This is their livelihood. If they want to play professionally, vie for championships and whatnot, want to play in the summer, like, they have to have a coach that they can trust. So how did they react to you initially?
Initially, I would say they were just extremely grateful, given the timeline and how close we were to season.
Yeah.
I think they were really happy to have a coach and someone that at least seemed qualified.
So they're excited. You meet them. What was the first thing you did as a team in person?
So it's been a bit complicated. We had about 8 people the first day, maybe 5, and then 7, and then 8. So it's been difficult to try to get that whole first group environment with people arriving at different times. We went to the Green Lakes, about 17 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Beautiful, had a barbecue, kicked the ball around. That was really our first team bonding experience once we got a majority of the team here.
They look happy on social media, but social media can make anything look like anything. Do you feel like the atmosphere and the culture is good with this team right now?
Definitely. Definitely trending in a great direction. Gets a little bit intense in some of the trainings, especially with the standard that's being requested.
Yeah.
But it's always left on the field, and we move on, and I think at the end of the day, the guys are very close.
You said you wanted your first impression with them. It's going to be, positive and all that, and then you said I could be hard on them later. How do you balance between I'm here for you, I got you, and at the same time, sometimes I need to tough love you? How do you balance that?
I usually correlate it to a professional team.
Okay.
Because that's what, majority of them are trying to do.
Yeah.
And I just ask them if they think that would be acceptable in a professional team or what they would do in their dream opportunity. So I ask them their favorite club they would love to play for and if they would do that behavior there and why they don't show me the same respect.
So you said 2-a-days. Why was it important for you? Was it the timing of the amount of time that you had to get them ready for the season that you felt like, hey, we got to double up our practices and we got to double up our training because we haven't had more time? Or if you had the full amount of time, would you still do 2-a-days? So kind of just the rationale of having your 2-a-days.
Oh yeah, for the preseason, 2, even 3-a-days. As much as time we can get together on the field, build the chemistry within reason. Managing the load, managing their bodies. Sometimes you have to focus more on the quality than the physical element just to be able to keep moving forward and prevent the injury.
So what are the layers when we're talking about these 2-a-days and whatnot? What are the layers to this for you when it comes to cardio, when it comes to lifting, when it comes to film study, practicing technique, looking at scheming and different things you want to do offensively and defensively? How have you layered it out?
So again, it was a little bit complicated this specific preseason with only having a few guys there at the beginning. Usually the very beginning would be the cardio.
Yeah.
I make sure they met their requirements and their expectation, and then we move on and focus on the more football-related things. But with everyone arriving late, I didn't want to punish the guys that were actually here on time.
Right.
So that one's been a little bit complicated, but I'm definitely transitioning more away from the cardio, the gym, and making that a personal expectation so that time we have together on the field can be spent on more valuable things.
And in those valuable things that you are on the field with, what is the focus now that we're into the season? What are the practice elemental focuses? I know after a match, there's going to be certain things you have to address that are specific to the match that you just had. But what does practice consist of now to you as you're still waiting for some guys to get in? You're in this kind of state of waiting, but also you can't wait. So what does practice look like?
So first of all, we have an extremely athletic team.
Yeah.
Our team is incredibly athletic. So now focusing on team shape, structure, tactical things to try to maximize that athletic ability.
Yeah.
And also with the players missing, we've got guys out of position, but they're going to have to play a big role for us in this upcoming match. So I don't have time to wait. I have to teach them that position, that role. So that's really been the focus of our recent sessions.
So what is the best part of this team? What would you say early on here is the thing that you can lean on?
Individualism, without a doubt. Athleticism, flair, game-changing talent. And then just building a better team around that. I don't want to win games just being the more talented team, the more athletic team. I want to win as the better team, and then we can use that star power when we need it.
So how would you describe yourself as a coach?
I would definitely say a more modern coach, focused on things like fluid football, for example. Players can change positions at any time as long as the players around them make the necessary adjustments to drop into the correct positions, and it leads to more fluid football, more difficult for defenses to track, things like that, more elaborate.
Okay. All right. I like that. So more fluid football as we are here on campus at Bryant and Stratton College's Syracuse. 2 campuses you'll find in the central New York area. Here where we are on James Street in Syracuse, also in Liverpool across from Avacoles. This is the exclusive first conversation with Ryan McGee since becoming the men's soccer head coach at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse that knows what it's like to compete for and win national titles. Not regional, national championships. So the final piece here in this Bobcat Buzz exclusive on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we get to play some rapid fire. We could talk about football or anything else. And football, folks, F-U-T-B-O-L. For those of you saying, it's soccer, it's football, what is it? Well, to the rest of the world, football is soccer. To America, football is American football. So we could talk about soccer/football or whatever we want. You got 3 questions, I got 3. What's your first question for me?
Oh, wow.
You can ask me anything in the world. And the whole point of it being rapid fire is that we can't think about it ahead of time.
Okay. I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yep, you're putting me on the spot. We'll go back and forth.
Which team are you most enjoying covering right now?
For what? For what sport? Anything? I'm going to say I'm really enjoying covering Syracuse football because I built a lot of relationships.
American football.
Yeah. So head coach Fran Brown, and the coordinators, the general manager position, which is new to collegiate athletics with Tommy, and I just got to do a one-on-one with Steve Angeli, the quarterback. I was down in Atlanta with them, seeing them go up against the SEC, and that first quarter was 17-0 Tennessee, but the rest of the game, the other 3 quarters was 28-26 Tennessee. Syracuse did a lot of good things. So, now that I'm into football season soccer and football season American football, it's really exciting for me. And, I get to cover teams all over the country, which I very much thank God for, in the NFL, in college football, and in all that. But, I would say Syracuse's story, stay tuned, because there's a lot of cool things that we're adding, some things that we're bringing back, and just different elements that we're doing I'm really excited about.
Awesome. Sounds really fun.
Thank you. My question to you, if you took over my show for the day and it was Wake Up Call with Ryan McGee, what 3 guests would you have and why?
Any 3 guests?
Anybody in the world.
Wow. Okay. Lionel Messi.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Understood.
Who else? Let's see. I just want to name soccer players.
You can. Whoever you want.
Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
Famous coach. And then I guess I'd say Ronaldo too.
Okay. So why? Obviously there's the fanfare, but why choose those 3?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. And then Pep, I would pick his brain a little bit.
Okay.
And Messi and Ronaldo, I'm just a fan.
What's the first question that you would, like you said, you're a fan of Messi and Ronaldo, but when it comes to coach, what's that first question you would ask?
To Pep?
Yeah,
What
to Pep. What would you ask Pep?
Best formation
Best formation. Okay.
that he likes?
Okay. All right. And then would you implement it immediately?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever he says.
Fair enough. What's your next question for me?
Okay. Best food spot in Syracuse?
It's tough.
Non-chain.
Yeah, it's tough because I work with a bunch of them, and I'm going to get myself in trouble.
I'll give you the hard questions.
Yeah. I'm going to say... Let me think. I'm going to say if you want to go out of town, like out of the city of Syracuse, and you want to drive like 40 minutes, go out to Auburn, go to Lasca's, massive portions. They have really good price. So during COVID, people raised their prices, and some people have gotten idiotic with it. But they have stayed true to having really good prices and massive portions.
I like big portions.
And they have fantastic veal parmesan. So I would say go to Lasca's.
Awesome.
I pick Lasca's.
Have to check it out.
My question back to you, team dinner guys, keep on him about Lasca's. My question back to you, so I have my own ice cream and I have my own breakfast sandwich in Syracuse. So if you were to make something called the McGee, what would it be? What would be, it could be a dessert or it could be a meal, but what's the McGee if you could have that be a dish somewhere or a dessert somewhere?
Oh, wow. It could be anything?
It could be anything. Sky's the limit.
I would probably say empanadas with cannoli.
Empanadas with cannoli?
My two favorite things.
Okay, all right. So, and I'm Hispanic and Italian, so I can respect that answer. That is
Okay.
the correct answer, folks. What's your last question for me, Ryan?
My last question for you.
Sir.
Who are you hoping... Alright, I'll give you two in one.
Okay.
Who are you a fan of in the NFL, and who do you think will actually win the Super Bowl this year?
I'm a fan of the Jaguars.
Okay, so it's going to be a different answer for number
Yeah,
two.
I would like to see Buffalo or Washington.
Okay.
That was my early before the preseason.
Not the Birds?
I think the Birds are really good, but Dallas, for as bad as people think they are, played them extremely close to start the season. So Washington and Buffalo was my feet to the fire, extremely early prediction.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see one of them win it. My question back to you, if you could sit down with any current NFL quarterback and the three of us could talk, who would you want to sit in with us?
Oh, Kirk Cousins.
Okay. who I say is above the equator line. I always try to get more respect for him than I think he gets, so why Kirk? I like the answer.
I just want to ask him maybe what he was thinking sometimes.
Okay. Are you a fan of a certain team?
Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to know what he was thinking in the year that they almost made it to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, would you ask him? Is there a certain play that you go back to?
Why he's getting nervous in the big games.
Why he's getting nervous in the big games. All right. All right, Kirk. Also a man of God. So much respect for that.
He's a great human being.
Yeah.
Great human being.
Yeah. So Kirk Cousins, well, if you're on the show with the two of us, I will lean on the side of the fact that I'll be a little nicer to you initially. But no, I do want to know too, because I picked Minnesota-Jacksonville, and it was the opposite that year. It was Philly-New England. So I did have Minnesota and Jacksonville going there. So with that being said, for Ryan McGee in this Bobcat Buzz exclusive on campus at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, come out on the road and at home and support your Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse men's soccer team and all the sports programs. And of course, you can find out more information by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab, you can absolutely check out our Bryant and Stratton College page and get to learn about the academic side and the athletic side. And of course, you can see conversations like this are exclusive with Ryan McGee. Happy to have him here on the show for his first interview since taking the job, and we look forward to everything that will happen on the fields at the CNY Family Sports Center as well as beyond. Ryan, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Of course. Look forward to talking with you soon. Everyone be safe from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, as we always say. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon, and make sure that you support your Bobcats. Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot, Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's the number 9, KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life, and many thanks to all of the wonderful people that have gone out to Great Lakes Honda City to look at their next ride, to get their next ride, and to bring it home. Appreciate you so much. Over on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, they are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And, of course, you can get a sneak peek by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. You just heard from Ryan McGee for the first time ever. It was the exclusive first conversation with Ryan anywhere in the world since accepting the job at Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse as the men's soccer head coach, leading a program that has competed for numerous and won multiple national championships right here in our community of Syracuse, New York. So very awesome, and excited to see what Ryan McGee and the team will do this season as they've kicked things off and gotten into it very early on here in the season. Plenty to come from Bryant and Stratton on the men's soccer side, and excited to see what's going to come from that. With that being said, staying in Syracuse, New York, we're going to head over to my Q&As that I had this week on game week 3 of the college football season, as we head into Syracuse's home matchup against Colgate. And in those conversations that I get to share with you today, I will be airing them and then having a conversation about my takeaways from it. So the first one that we are going to have here on the show today is going to
As
be
you get accustomed
Steve
to
Angeli.
being the starter here, just what you can say to that backfield that you do have. I know you've been able to check down Will Nixon and trusting Yasin Willis to get into the end zone. Just what those guys bring to the table and how they're helping you get more comfortable.
Yeah, they do an unbelievable job handling everything we do in the offense. Very comfortable when I'm back there with any of the guys in our running back room, and they're absolute playmakers in the run game and the pass game, so I'm excited to be back there with them.
I know Malachi is somebody that we've seen in the return area, but when we do see him offensively, just what you can say about the weapon that he can be as well.
Yeah, he has unbelievable speed, probably one of the fastest people I've ever seen live in my life. So, he is a, one-play touchdown just waiting to happen.
A one-play touchdown just waiting to happen. Speaking on Malachi James, who wears number 36 on the Syracuse Orange football team. Someone who they have kicked toward, but not to, in these first couple games when you're speaking on Tennessee at the neutral field that they had at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia at the Aflac kickoff, and then the first home matchup between the Yukon Huskies and the Syracuse Orange coming into town in central New York. So Malachi James, that touchdown waiting to happen. Will it happen this week? Well, that's why you should come out and see the game, folks. Will Nixon with the check down, like I said, reminiscent of Ryan Nassib and Prince Tyson Gully, which is a giant compliment, in my opinion, to what Steve Angeli and Will Nixon are doing. And then, of course, Yasin Willis, 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 3 against Tennessee of the SEC, and the touchdown on the tying drive, or the drive that they took the lead, I should say. The touchdown on the drive that they took the lead came from Yasin Willis bouncing to the outside and getting in from 3 yards out. So shout out to that backfield. I want to make sure I took some time speaking with Steve Angeli about his backfield here. And coming up next, we have part 1 of my Q&A with Justus Ross-Simmons, who is also a massive part of that comeback against UConn.
Justus, when you look at that connection that you have with Steve, what are you doing beyond the typical practice and different things that you're being asked to do? How are you building that relationship beyond what you're being asked?
It's really doing stuff outside of football together just to get to know each other. And then as a football practice, we're getting the extra reps.
That faith that he had in you, not once but twice down the stretch, just what that means, that when he needed someone, he looked your way multiple times.
Steve, we built a connection where he could trust me, and I told him that I got his back, so he threw me that ball because he trusted me, and I made the play for him.
We heard about you not necessarily being at 100% last season and fighting to get back from injury. For what we're seeing right now, are we seeing that complete 100% and kind of all the tools in the toolbox?
Not yet. I still got some things going on with myself, but I'm still able to go out there and make plays.
So Justus Ross-Simmons saying that we still haven't seen 100% of him, but he's still going out there and making plays and doing his thing. So, I mean, if that's not Justus Ross-Simmons at 100%, watch out, world, when he gets to that 100%. I'm very excited about what that could look like and could be for the Syracuse Orange with a Justus Ross-Simmons completely healthy. We know last year that he caught the ball in spacing and tried to get himself down the field and did not get into the end zone, right? As he was, I think they said at the time, he was somewhere around 80% and trying to find his way back to full go. And he's saying that he's still dealing with some stuff. However, he's rocking and rolling and getting himself into the end zone. Justus Ross-Simmons, and you can see, if you were paying attention to that video, the definition and the size of his arms. A strong-bodied wide receiver out here to create some spacing for himself and get the job done. Justus Ross-Simmons, 2 touchdowns in this game, 83 yards on 5 catches. So almost half of the time that he caught the ball, he was going into the end zone. And, of course, Justus Ross-Simmons having the touchdown with 5:41 left to go in the game on a 53-yard pass play from Steve Angeli to him. And Justus Ross-Simmons, it was 4th and 2, and Justus Ross-Simmons is on the right side. He's by the sideline, and it looked like, and to me, I can go right back to this play. It looked like the defense of UConn was not prepared. Like, one of the guys by the sideline, he was kind of like looking at the quarterback, and then here comes Justus Ross-Simmons, and he just tosses the ball and drops where Justus can grab it with no defender on him, gets that ball on the short pass, and then just takes off, gets into the end zone. And that, with 5:41 remaining, made it 17-12 after Syracuse did not convert on the 2-point try. And then after that, Yasin Willis got a touchdown with 48 seconds left in the game. And, of course, in overtime, Justus Ross-Simmons, a 6-yard pass from Steve Angeli, bobbled it, gathered it, stayed in bounds, and that score was the separation in this matchup. And, of course, Syracuse's defense coming through huge in the second half and in overtime to give almost nothing and to not allow, after 2 touchdowns in the first half that UConn had, Syracuse's defense did not allow UConn into the end zone for the third quarter, the fourth quarter, or in overtime. Only 6 points allowed after 14 given up in the first half. So a lot to say about that. And now we have the opportunity to go back to Steve Angeli and get Steve Angeli's thoughts on working within the offense of Jeff Nixon, somebody who has a ton of NFL experience, came from the New York Giants. So his take on working with offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon is up next.
You spoke about Coach Nixon before and just getting comfortable in his offense. I know that you've been passing the ball a lot, 93 times in the first 2 games, but just what you can say about the layers of this offense and kind of just understanding the way that he wants you to go about it.
Yeah, it really just, it took time, especially when I got here, to just meeting with him, meeting with Coach Nunn's, understanding, what this offense is built on and what we're trying to attack, and, just finally having 2 games under my belt and understanding, the offense and seeing it live and repping it and, executing it. It's all just continuing to build my confidence in, playing in this offense.
Coming from the NFL, just what you can say about, that expertise that he does have and what it means to you wanting to have an opportunity at the next level.
Yeah, it's really cool just when you run certain plays in practice and in these past 2 games, and then you watch some of the NFL football that was on this week, and you're like, hey, we have this play in our playbook, we ran it like this. So, it makes me feel comfortable, like, hey, I'm doing things that will be done at the next level, and, we're executing at a high level here.
So that coming from Steve Angeli, I love the note that he made there of saying, watching some of the NFL games in week 1 of this 2025-26 NFL season and saying, watching some of these games and seeing, hey, we have this play. This is in our playbook, something that you see the NFL do in their first week of play to start off the season. So that's really cool, really awesome. Jeff Nixon, again, like he said, having a couple games under his belt now, working with Jeff Nixon, working within this offense and getting more comfortable. And I think that's the thing, and that's why I think it's crazy to have the conversation of should Steve Angeli still be the quarterback and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like he literally came in, he didn't have spring ball, so he only had fall to prepare, to learn the offense, get comfortable in Jeff Nixon's offense. He only had a little bit of time. People, you don't understand, okay, spring ball, fall ball, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, spring practice, fall practice, it's not that long. I'm down in Charlotte, North Carolina for the ACC kickoff, right? And that's around July 24th time, my mom's birthday. Shout out to my mom, who's 24 years old. Love you, Mom. So, and definitely, I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, Ma, you look good for your age. She looks like she went back in time, not forward. And she is just such an awesome, awesome gift from God. And I just want my mom to know how much she's loved and how much support she has and how she is going to be okay in everything in her life because God's got her back. And so does my grandpa and, my pop, Cavino, my G-Mama, Aunt Dorothy, Mordu, Cinnamon, Shady. Everybody's got her, including Lily and I. And, my friends love my mom, so they got her back too. And she has so many friends and so many people's lives that she's touched. So I just want to say I love you, Mom. And you mean the world to me, more than the world to me. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, God bless to you, Mama. And Steve Angeli talked about his mom too when he was asked about, I spoke with Fran Brown and asked Fran about the mental and physical toughness of Steve Angeli. at Fran's press conference this week going into the Colgate game. And he brought, well, yeah, he brought up the fact that he's a New Jersey kid. And then it was asked to Steve last night, coming off of that New Jersey toughness comment that Fran made in response to my question. He asked him about it, and Steve talked about his mom. So happy to know that you got a strong mom too, Steve. And I love that. I definitely appreciate it and respect it and can understand it. So that's awesome to hear. And, being in this offense, again, he only had a few weeks. So I'm down at the ACC kickoff around July 24th, my mom's birthday, right? And then you come home and you go into fall ball. And they had about a month, like 3 weeks and some change. That's the time that Angeli has to rep this thing. So you want him to have 2 weeks playing and then bring in Ricky Collins when he had like 3 weeks and some change to prepare. You know what I mean? It's like you're not even giving him the amount of time that he had to prepare. So I think it's idiotic and I think it's crazy. And of course, I think some people are trying to drum up this Ricky versus Steve again because people are desperate and they're bored and they need to sell things. And I would love it if we took a step back and we just looked at, and I'm not here to pick apart anybody in the media, ever. I mean, do I enjoy some of the things I see? I don't, but I'm going to call that out. And whether it's local, regional, national, international, there's a couple things that I think have just been ridiculous. Reigniting the Ricky versus Steve argument, because you're going to get some fans that are going to cheer for Steve and you're going to get some fans that are going to cheer for Ricky. And now you're seeking to divide the team. You're seeking to have drama around the team. You're seeking to have stress around the team. And for what? To sell clicks, to have people read something. And, I think a lot of times we forget that these are people. And that's what frustrates me and makes me up. It's just sad to see. It's sad to see that we're not treating human beings as human beings. And the other thing is, Fran having the team run after. I mean, this was asked at the press conferences last night. It was asked at Fran's press conference. And, the players kind of echoed what Fran said and said, like, hey, we're done talking about this. Like, this was the last game. We've moved on to Colgate. It's not a big deal. Justus Ross-Simmons said he had no problem with it. And I don't know what the fanfare is around it. Now, I will say, free publicity, right? The opportunity to make national news and national headlines, that's great, right? That doesn't hurt Syracuse in any way, shape, or form. So that's actually a good thing. But it is definitely ridiculous to be so hung up on Fran had the guys run, because there's a standard at Syracuse, and that's reality. That the standard is the standard is the standard, and when you don't meet the standard, you're going to have consequences. If you don't have consequences, then there is no standard, right? You put your hand, you're told not to put your hand in the cookie jar. You put your hand in the cookie jar, there has to be a repercussion to that. If there's not a repercussion to that, then there's no reason of having a rule to not put your hand in the cookie jar. So, to me, it's news where news doesn't exist, right? The Ricky versus Steve reigniting of the conversation, that doesn't exist right now, in my opinion. And why a team is running? Because it took them overtime to figure it out. And they've had 2 games where they've had slow starts. They went down 17-0, and then in the last 3 quarters against Tennessee, made it 28-26. They played them close. Against UConn, they went down 14-6 at half. They responded by going 21-6 to end the game. So, obviously there's an expectation to have more going on. And if you want to know what Fran thinks about the standard and about Dart, you can go to any of our social media pieces and see where he thinks the team is at in connection to Dart and the standard. Are they being detailed, accountable, relentless, and tough? You can find out what he said to me this week by going to Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, or Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. The reality of the fact is Steve Angeli is the quarterback, and he has made some incredible plays, including to this gentleman who I got to finish up time with here this week and have the opportunity to ask him about his father. He's from Rochester, and he came to Syracuse closer to home, transferred into Syracuse to be with his dad, who's gone through some health issues. And obviously, I know that family is incredibly important. This is what Justice Ross-Simmons had to say about anything about his father's teachings that sticks with him.
You spoke about your father and just how much it means to be close to him. What are some of those things that he's taught you that stick with you when you're going through adversity on the field?
He's just telling me that just keep your head straight and push through it, because everything is going to be bumps in the road, but you can get past anything when you put your mind to it.
You can get past anything that you put your mind to. There's going to be bumps in the road, but you can get past anything. And it may sound like very simple advice, but it's incredibly important advice. With that being said, speaking of advice, it's time for our fantasy football advice. And you know on Wednesdays that our broadcast is split into 2 videos and 2 separate audio streams, because fantasy football within Wake Up Call is such a massive part of what we do in our coverage of the NFL. Proud to be an accredited member of the National Football League for many, many years, and to be on site, on location, covering teams all over this country. So we will jump into the Fantasy Football Power Hour in a video that is separate from this one. So I want to thank Ryan McGee of the Bryant and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and thank Bryant and Stratton for our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership and the opportunity to bring you Ryan McGee's exclusive first interview since accepting the job. And I want to thank Syracuse University, the football program, Fran Brown, as well as the student athletes, coaches, and staff, and the athletic communications department for the opportunity to speak with the student athletes as well as Fran. And so we will end this video and start a new one. So with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Podbean, stay with us. We will be back momentarily.